tickets starting now. Three, two, one.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Oh my God. Hello, everybody. And sorry about the delay. We it's the time zone thing, and I just kind of got thrown for a loop because sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 3 hours, depending on what happens. But welcome to Beacon in the Dark. I'm your host, Susan Swanbeck, with our new co-host, Miss Marcy Kosich. So we're gonna have a lot of fun here. And again, I apologize for running late. But that happens when you get messed up time zones. Right, Marcy?
Hey, mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, dimensionally, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, first we start the week off with, let's see. I just had it one heck of a week. First we start off with, I wake up with an abscess, baseball side on the side of my mouth, no toothache, go to the dentist, get an antibiotic, end up with a toothache. Who knows? Anyways, I can finally talk and eat, which is good. Electricity goes out in the whole building. I live on the 7th floor. Can't smoke in the building. Stairs are not my friend. So I was like, and then I told Marcy the wrong time. So other than that, I'm good. And you? How are you, Marcy?
I'm good. It's funny because I went on play to kill time.
Yeah.
I just got done eating. I go to the drawings every time. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, at 5 o'clock, I'll leave. And then I just got done eating, gave my son the other half of the sandwich,
Yeah.
grounded myself, focused besides driving on the time limit where Sue's texting me like, 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, because it's like I knew it was 7 o'clock my time. I thought you were 2 hours behind.
3.
But yeah, see, that was me. I made a boo boo.
Hey, at least I'm here.
Yes. And I waited. So hopefully you guys are going to love this. Marcy and I are going to be talking about some really fantastic things today. Today, we're talking about trust. Now, we had other plans, but I picked this for a reason. Okay. This particular topic deals with stuff that Marcy and I have talked about, actually. We've talked about what happened in the past and what happens now. So, and I've had experience, she's had experience, and I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have had issues with how do you retrust? How do you do this again, whether it's in a relationship or a friendship? How do you let go of certain things in order to have that ability to move forward? How do we do that?
Well, there's a lot of different issues. I've continually healed myself. She said betrayal. That was the theme of it. But now she's doing trust, which kind of go hand in hand because you lose the trust when you do the betrayal.
Yeah.
And I've been betrayed by my family. I've been betrayed by my daughter. My daughter took me to court. This woman groomed her and won, and I don't know what they said at the courts. So it was a lot of process. I would go to the casino, so I wouldn't transfer on. My son, who at that point was 10. And then my friends would send pictures of my daughter, her husband, her kids. And I go, I'm processing. And
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you. I'm processing. And if you allow that energy, and there's times I would go because I was trained not to feel. And I would
Yeah.
I'd play for several hours and it surfaced where my body would just start shaking. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit with this. I'm going to release it and I'm going to let it go. And
Easier for some people do than
I know,
others.
well, I was trained
Yeah.
not to. And that's what I was
Yeah.
saying. And my daughter, and it's like the whole thing that these people do is called deflecting. And a lot of times I've helped people out and they'll turn it around like I have the problem. Well, you got homeless, you got this, I'm helping you out, but they get to a certain point, and I love where I read where when people are stressed out, they get to the point of apathy. And I've noticed that they get to that point where I don't care, or I'm not going to look at what I did, it's your fault. And I've had to let a
Exactly.
lot of people go
Exactly.
because of that whole deflecting or flip switching or whatever it is going on. And
Yeah.
it's all like what Susan and I are passionate about is teach people to take back our power.
Yes. Yes.
Because
That's exactly it. You said empathy. Empathy. Don't say
empathy,
it today. So, hey, hello, Jenny. Hello, Facebook user. Sorry. All I see is at everyone, so I know it's Howie. So sorry I was running late. So, and it said how, and this is the thing. You've been hurt, people that have been hurt in the past. Okay. I'm playing hostess today. You're playing hostess today. No. All right. So, people in the past, it says how, and this is my question. How do we as individuals, now again, guys out there, if you have any suggestions, I'd love to read them. How do we listen and empathize with others' feelings when our own feelings have been hurt, or we've been taken advantage of, or stabbed in the back, or so on and so forth? What are some of the steps we take to help that go along? Now,
well,
what's your thought?
every time we have triggering things, I just ended a friendship of 40 years where it was off and on. She reconnected. I'm never going to leave you. I love you. Da da da. The whole thing like that. I helped her out. Financially gave her stuff, and then on a Friday I gave her money for the Fun Friday stuff, and then she waited until Sunday and she goes, "Well, you embarrassed me by raising your voice when I asked you for money." And a lot of times people, your voice was
I'm thinking of my kids here, and I'm going, "What, really?" So,
well,
and that's what it reminds me
and
of.
then
So, yeah,
the darker side of her came out.
right.
And it was funny because my son works in the movie theater, so we went and saw the Hunter Games.
I love
And
that
I'm going,
movie.
I'm starting to feel like Snowden snow, you know, as to you get to that point where I tell people to take their power back by saying I don't care, and then that really
Yes.
pisses them off because
Right.
they want you to feel for them, sink into their victim
Exactly.
story, and when you don't, there's where that deflection is, you
Right.
know.
So there actually is a time to empathize with someone, and but yet you can empathize, you can feel bad for an
Right,
individual, but do not allow these people or individuals who have hurt you to take advantage of you.
right.
That's the trick. It's okay to feel sorry, because I feel sorry for certain people. I do. But do not allow them to take your control or take your power, just like Marcy just said. Don't allow that.
Yeah, and
Allowed, okay, you felt it, it's there. Now I'm going to let it go.
well, and you gotta own it,
Yeah,
release, and let it go.
I believe in that.
You gotta
Now,
feel it, and
exactly.
I've had to process my daughter. I've had to process my family, and a
Mm,
lot of times they will try testing you, and also because I had to do a lot of the stuff. I read Mean Girls Grown Up, where people are like, they'll um they'll do subtle things. It's
right.
like the teenagers, but more ostracizing the one person, the berry picker, or whatever it is going on, and they'll pick those people to ostracize that goes on. And when you have that cognitive distances where you separate, then I had a train of thought and I lost because I got into the whole Mean Girls mentality. Where
That's
it's
okay.
all it's all good, but it's again the cognitive distances that are going on and the deflection. And I have had so many strange stories how people have had to create their own reality, and they have their own, and they will do anything to protect it. And then Dr. Phil talks about currency. And if somebody's currency is better than your currency, like Randy's currency is better than mine for my daughter, they will protect that currency too. And
True.
so
Yeah.
that trust is broken
Right.
that way
But
also.
what this is about right now is how to get it back, how to not let these hurt feelings
Right.
get
But once they
stab
own
us.
it and say, this is not my belief system,
Right.
or this is your reality, you've got to have these things where it's not you, it's them.
Exactly. My mother used to say, not my monkey, not my circus.
Right. And so once once you own that, you
Yeah.
won't take it personally
And
as
that's
to what
that's
they
the
need to protect.
hardest part. A lot of us out there, we will take everything like, okay, this is us. This is, especially think of it as individuals who have been hurt as far as trust. Think of them as a very strong empath. They feel everything. Everything is their fault.
Right.
If somebody else feels bad, it's them. If somebody else did something wrong, they did it wrong. So, and that's what happens. We're absorbing the negative parts. So, therefore, we're still allowing the individuals that hurt us power. We are giving them power because it still hurts us, it still bothers us. So, we have to learn or relearn how to effectively communicate. It's like learning to speak or learning to walk all over again, because we get to that point where we're not trusting ourselves anymore because our feelings were hurt. When our feelings get hurt, just like a caged animal, we're going to lash out. That's normal. That's what happens. But the trick is not getting to that point. So, as far as effective communication, I have a couple things that I've taught my kids, and then you can literally talk about what suggestions that you use as far as communication. I literally, my children, when they were growing up and they had something going on, or something bad happened at school, or somebody bothered them, or a bully in school, or whatever, or they got in trouble, or things like that. What happened was is that I would tell them this, exactly this. Okay, you can spit this out to me in any way you want. Okay. I don't care if you swear. I don't care if it comes out wrong. I don't care if you're going to play the blame game. I need you to get it out first. After you get it all out, you sit right here and we're going to learn how to talk about what happened without you getting your emotions in the way. This is how I taught them to communicate. So that gives that little piece. Now, what would be your suggestion?
Well, because I was abused and I had a narcopathic sister and a sociopathic sister and a father that was abusive, the sociopath sister. So I was the youngest. So I held everything in. And that's what my book was about. I
Right.
sucked my thumb until I was 8. I internalized a lot of stuff. And I feel like I came an amoeba so I wouldn't get the attention. But what I read a lot about is the cortisol in our brain. If a lot of people go, I'm going crazy, I lost my memory. No, you didn't lose your memory. The cortisol took it away.
Right.
And then I just read recently that the cortisol holds in all of our traumatic, you know, as far as our energies, our emotions. And then when I do the healing work, I was reading this and it recently, and it was saying that it switches from the dark carbon energy, fear, shame, guilt, that dark, heavy energy. When I do the tones, it'll turn into the crystalline energy,
Right.
the light. But we have to release it. We have to own it. And we have to let it go, whether it's drawing, writing, dancing, express and release. But once we know that it's triggered, we have to own it and release instead of pushing it down.
Right.
And
Because if you don't, it's just going to continually come back up.
well, yeah, one
Right.
of the things, I have a whole bunch of blogs on my LinkedIn, and one I did about the pressure cooker. And either you can let the steam out a little bit with the pressure cooker,
Right.
or it's just going to explode. And that's where diseases are. We internalize, we push it down. I'm fine,
Right.
everything's good, and then or the deflection. And then what happens?
So,
What?
what is your suggestion
There wasn't.
on how we start communication again? Just regular communication because we've had these issues with trust.
Yeah, it's just you've just got to feel it and you got to own it and you've got to release it. And it's different things are different people. And a lot of times you go on the right side of the brain. You release it by, like I said, dancing, singing, writing it out,
Okay.
screaming into pillow, whatever it is that's going on.
Right.
Switch from the left side to the right side.
I actually seen something in a movie once where somebody was very frustrated and it was his other half. So he took this girl to an airplane, uh oh my god, a place where airplanes take off. Airport. Wow. Okay. So took her to an airport and put her in the grass, not in the airport, but in the grass,
Right,
right where the planes had taken off. And he said to her, okay, I want you to scream at the top of your lungs, the loudest you can, as this plane goes overhead. He laid her like on the roof of the car
right,
and told her to watch it because it's like an adrenaline adrenaline rush. I swear to God, this is just coffee. Adrenaline rush. And she was releasing at the same time. So that's
right.
kind of what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because my friend Louisa, who I've been on this journey with and is also really psychic, we were doing a lot of stuff. We went up in the Oakland Hills. It's
Right.
like, okay, we're going to scream. This guy came out of the bushes asking to see if we were okay. We didn't, we didn't think anybody was there, But well, Louisa and I
Oh my
had different
God.
experiences, but and that's why I'm like saying the tones. If you go onto my YouTube at
Right.
YouTube, you know Marcy Costage slash the tones, you could sing that. Anything to do with the tones hit the serotonin part of the brain,
Right.
and then that relaxes us.
Right.
As far as what's going on. So each person is individual. You can't be objective. You just know if you're behind anger is frustration, sadness, fear.
Exactly.
You've got to get to the core
Exactly.
of what the anger is, because if you don't do anger, people are depressed. I go, well, depression is guilt toward inward.
Yes.
And when you don't deal with the guilt, it turns into depression. And so a lot of people don't understand. Once you understand the tools,
Right.
processing, feeling,
Yeah,
allowing that
exactly. Exactly. Now, the other thing it takes is it takes time.
the
You
processing, yeah.
have to learn to give yourself that time to have that ability to recommunicate all over again, to trust all over again. And for some of us, depending on
Oh,
situations,
sometimes.
it takes a long time. So, we've all had those personal experiences. I was alone for almost 11 years. And then lo and behold, there's something about them. But there there's always a time. Don't push it. Don't say, okay, I need to trust. I need to get up there. I need to prove to the world that I'm winning. That's not what it's about. Just take as much time as you need in order to get back on track. Now, if you guys have any questions about trust as we're talking about this, I would love to hear your questions. Okay, another thing about trust and taking time. Marcy covered that one. So let's see, take time to make decisions. Okay, so you don't want to make split second decisions because of the experiences that we have had and everybody else has had. A lot of times we will jump the gun, so to speak, and then make the wrong decision only because we don't want to get stuck into something else. What is your suggestion? Yeah, what's your opinion about this? We're just bouncing off each other right now. So, what's
Okay.
your opinion about
I
this?
just want to step back. Um, I mean, I made a mistake. I called my daughter one time a bitch out of anger, and I
Right,
think that started. And they said that I love the saying that it says when you're boiling water, you can't see clearly within your reflection.
right.
If you learn to be in that stillness, but a lot of times you've got to calm that energy down as far as what's going on. Um, a lot of stepping back. I take a lot of baths.
Salt
Yeah,
baths,
yeah,
exactly.
well, sea
Now,
salt baths, they clean your aura.
all right, so let's take that situation you had with your daughter, and maybe somebody else out there will get an idea because I've had a similar situation. I popped my daughter off one time. I just couldn't
Right.
take it. I just
Yeah,
popped her
we
the
get to
finger.
our
Yeah,
breaking point.
literally. So I popped her the finger. You called yours Bitch.
Right.
Okay, we'll spell it because you could take that and you could make it beautiful, intelligent, treacherous, charming, and honest. So there you go. So we've had these experiences, but how could we have reacted differently? Now that we're older, we can say, okay, we have these experiences. What could we have done to react differently? With me, I would have needed 2 minutes to myself because that's what it was. With me, it would have been because the work, the school, the cooking, the kids, it was like,
Right.
okay, somebody wasn't eating because they had ketchup. I just flipped them off. That was it. I've had enough throughout the day. So I should have taken that step back
Well,
before I did that. But at the time I did it. But that's what I should have done.
when we get to
Yeah.
reacting,
Yeah.
that's from the past. And my
Exactly.
daughter mirrored a lot of my sisters, which I never
Yeah.
thought. Once we work through, we respond. And so if we learn to not work it through where there's not a charge, we have to look at what that trigger is. We have to look at what
Mm,
that charge is. We have to look at it's not them, it's me. They're mirroring us. What are we doing? I apologize to my daughter over and
yeah.
over again. She just chooses not to have anything to do with me. I've done
Yeah.
what I could. And a lot of times they don't apologize. I'm sorry, I was in a heated moment, you know, whatever it is that was going on. And
Exactly. But that's exactly what I mean. Both you and I have had we're not perfect, we're human
right,
beings, we're people. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody says something in that heat of the moment that can affect another individual. Yes, everybody does. Doesn't matter the situation. Somebody could have a bad day and you're in the grocery line. The next thing you know, you got somebody in front of you bitching up a storm about your hair color. And when they're not even pissed off over your hair color or the color shirt you're wearing or your nose is too big, it doesn't matter. They just need that attack in the moment. So the idea is to the idea, because I know we're talking about trust, we're kind of falling off topic, and I had a thought, so I was running with it. But the idea is to try to take that step back, try not to let the triggers happen. But as far as trust, I think one of the most difficult things. Hello, Nikki. How you doing, honey? One of the most difficult things is to trust again if you've had a situation where you were hurt deeply. How do you go into a similar situation without being affected by the past? That's the hard part. How do you get by that to trust? What are some of the steps we as individuals should take to continue to move forward?
I I read a really good book. Well, one of my books that I read, and it's called The Inner Child Workbook. And it starts off from our infancy up until we're 18 and our development on different things. And so they'll have the different patterns that we learned that are going on. But one of the things that they were saying, which I have worked on myself with,
Right.
is you go knock on the door, you visualize your infant, you go hold your infant, and you're like, I will love and protect you. What do you need to express? Then you go to your toddler, you do the same thing. You when I work
I
on
like that.
people's energy, a lot of times their inner child comes out
Right.
as far as the unresolved issues that are going on. And
Right.
so once I work through those aspects of ourselves, then it integrates back into that healed part of ourselves. Where instead
Do
of
you
like,
remember the name of that book? That sounds like a
yeah,
really interesting book.
yeah, I love that book. I ended up giving it to another friend of mine that was a healer. It's called The Inner Child Workbook,
Let me try to type that
and
in.
it's like
Inner.
20, 30 years old, but you write it down. I love it because, and I was in therapy because I was at yeah, exactly 30 years ago. And my therapist's like, oh, well, you're done. Or I said, I'm done. They said, no, you haven't processed the whole thing. Because as these things surface, you've got to feel them. Once you release them, those healed wounds, they don't affect you anymore. So no matter what people say, it doesn't work through it. But that book is fantastic because it actually has you bring up the different emotions, different exercises. And that's what we need to
Yep.
do. You
Yep.
know, the difference
Yep.
between those, what?
Miss Nikki Jacobs agrees with you. She said it was something that they did in counseling years ago, and she says it works wonders. So,
It is.
literally, guys, look up that book, Inner Child Workbook. That's a good start right there. That really is. I'm sorry. Continue. I just
No,
wanted to
no,
let you
no.
know what they're saying here in the chat room too.
Well, yeah, and that's why, like, I've been working on myself for 40 years. And my friend Janine Ferrari, who hopefully we can get her on the show because she does EFT with like electric energy. She did a voice thing on me. We were talking about, she's was from England. She lives in Spain, but she does online also. And she goes, well, Marcy, I didn't even know you were abused. I said, because I work at it, you know?
Yeah.
And so,
It's the same thing can be said for adult women or adult men
right,
that have had unwanted advances. That's a gentle way of putting it.
right.
So those situations make life more complicated and also make trust issues
Oh,
extremely
yeah.
complicated. Yeah. So it really does. So there's a lot of things in those experiences that we can do. Just there's a lot of things. There's actually support animals that you can take with you
Oh, yeah.
everywhere, so you can feel safe as you're walking. So, and there are like counselors or people that you can talk to, or your priestess, or your reverends, or your high priestess, or
Right.
whatever it is, or your pet rock. If you feel good about that, I think whatever you feel good at talking about, getting it out is something that's really, really good. The hardest part is when we go through these things and we have this lack of trust. How do you keep a hold of the valued relationships? Because we are so in an uproar that our emotions are so all over the place from this pain. How do we keep control of the relationships that we should value, rather than what do we do sometimes? We push everybody away and start from scratch. How do we not
Well,
do
the
that?
only one of the things that I love is I am the CEO of myself. I could hire, fire, demote, promote anybody that I want. And if you look at it that way, like I'm in control of how I respond to you.
Sorry.
It's okay.
All right, I am a CEO of me.
Yeah,
I like that.
and once you, it's all to do with feeling of control. And
Right.
once you know, okay, I'm going to demote this person, or I've written to people. Some people I've let back
Right.
in. Some people I've let back in, and they've screwed me over again. I'm like, okay, I'm done. And it's like you just watch these people, because if there's you and there's an energy resistance, that energy is going to break up your energy. And so I'm going
Exactly.
to step back. I'm not going to start any arguments, because you want to deflect back onto me and make it look like I'm the bad person. I'm
Right.
not going to do that. So if you see their deflection, then you're just like, I'm stepping back. And
Exactly. Miss Nikki Jacobs agrees with you. She even making an affirmation. I am the CEO of myself.
you're right.
So I love that. You go, girl. Now I'm going to be the CEO of me,
Right.
now that I can actually speak and my face isn't swollen.
Well, and and there's another analogy as to you built up trust like a gas tank.
Yeah,
And then all it takes is a second to have it completely empty. And
exactly.
you may choose to have that person fill up the gas or not. But
Right.
if you look at all these analogies, you're like, okay, my gas tank is empty. I'm going to
But
step
first, you
back.
have to plug the hole.
Yeah,
The individual that needs to be refilled has to learn to plug that proverbial hole.
take their power back, build themselves
Yes,
up. It's all energy.
exactly.
It's all like a balloon that's
Exactly.
deflated. It's all like things that are popped. They're screaming at me to do tones. I don't know if you guys want me to do that, if that's all part of the.
I think if a tone helps to heal somebody out there, I say go for it. And when you're done, we'll just continue
Well,
on our topic. Go to town.
well,
I
and
do
like
this.
you and I talk, and I've talked to my friends, we'll talk and these different things will come up. And it's
Exactly.
like
So if
the
something is
trigger.
coming up, then maybe it's meant for someone.
Right. All right.
Exactly.
I'm seeing it.
Sorry, you're being yelled at. Tone, 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 tone.
What?
Howie, tone, 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 tone.
I know. I wish he was verbally talking, but at least he has his typing in. All right, I'm going to hit a low
Yeah.
one. And
Okay. There we go.
you've got to also understand, part of the healing, we are air, water, earth, and fire. And so
Exactly. And
when I
spirit.
do healing, I'll heal people 3 inches from, that'll be the emotional level. Or 6.
Okay, I
I know,
burped on
I was
that one.
watching you.
That was me releasing.
And then 6 inches is the mental. And so you've got to feel the diseases are 75%
Mhm.
of on the emotional and mental levels. That's why
Exactly.
we get sick, because we're not dealing with the emotions as is. All right, I'm going to hit
Exactly.
low tone. I'm hearing somebody's energy screaming.
Sounded like a monk.
Well, and I do a lot of monk ones.
Yeah, that did. That sounded just like a monk. The first one was more like in the higher
Right.
realm. That one was definitely a monk.
Right. And then how he does
I heard a
his
monk.
Siberian, he'll tell me what it is, because I always forget. His chant.
Vibrant. Oh, vibrant, he said. I'll just keep plopping them on the screen so it's easier for you to see. He says, oh, vibrant.
Is anybody else feeling release? Because That's
If
not the
anybody else out there is belching or farting, really, you're supposed to
smelling.
do that during these tones. What'd you say, honey?
What do you say?
He said, no, you can't fart.
Oh,
Mongolian throat chant, he's saying.
yeah. See, I can never. I wish we could do it here. We could hear him do it. All right, I gotta hear one
We
more.
will. We will sometime. We'll get on here and we'll have a chanting, releasing party of all kinds of different sounds and tones and everything. We'll have a gigantic releasing party.
Oh, and
we'll
Susan,
see if Howie is available.
I
Yeah.
sent my friend Janine the link on our last show, and she
Yeah.
wrote amazing, and I'm like,
Awesome.
I know. I love when a psychologist. She goes, I'm more than that. I said, I know you're more than that. You know.
Hello, Karen Bullitt. Yeah, so just quick recap, guys. I really apologize for not being live on Tuesday. Marcy did come, like literally called me up right away. She did some tones to try to heal, but I didn't feel well enough to continually talk and try to do readings at the same time. So I took that step back. Plus, eating and doing readings are always a good thing. So I couldn't eat for a couple of days. Couldn't move my jaw enough. So, but now I'm really, really good. So thank you guys. And don't worry, I'll be back next Tuesday. So let's see. The hardest thing. Here we go. Ask what is needed to prevent. How do we prevent reoccurrence from coming?
You just
How do we not repeat the same mistake
if we're
over
feeling
and over and
anger,
over?
we have to go deep into what those emotions are. The fear,
Exactly.
anger. If we're triggered, then we have to look at that person is mirroring back to me what I need to work through. And if you
Right.
own it and release it and let it go, feel it. Don't get caught up in
Sorry,
it.
burped again. Marcy's fault.
I love when it's always my fault. I know people that don't.
Hey, it's coming out a good way. It's belching, coming out the
Well,
other
we
way.
don't know.
Not so
Everybody else,
pretty.
and
Poor dog.
look,
I'm telling you.
and I was talking to Susan about how I had a vision of being in front of, an audience. But then we were
Right.
talking about the 1920s. It's like, oh, they didn't have radio. They had radios, which is what this is. But I like
Yes,
this
exactly.
format better because people could do the healing on their own time. They could replay this.
Exactly.
It's not like in a group where they're releasing.
Exactly.
This is all being in control of what they need to do. But when you're releasing, you've got to listen to your body. Like they said I shouldn't eat meat, but my Palmer told me I need to eat meat. So I just had like a roast beef sandwich. It grounded me. And
Right.
or I'll crave sugar. I have a bag full of candy. Or drinking liquids, drinking lots of water, getting that fluid going. So you got to look at those elements of air, earth, wind, and fire. What are we doing to release it? It's like the
Right.
Kundalini is the last one, the fire. Your body is purifying what's going on, but you will have.
We'll have to do that one show. We'll have to literally bring out all our elements
Right.
of earth, air, fire, water, spirit, so people can see and possibly feel the energy in two different ways, but yet they mesh.
Well, and
I know they're gonna mesh. So that's another show right there.
I moved. I have a picture, and I think Howie and Susan saw it. I had a 3-tiered mirror.
Yep.
And my tones cracked it.
Yep. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And if you watch behind her, usually one of the mirrors when it's going on the tones, watch the mirror, it'll vibrate.
Well,
the mirrors do vibrate.
I bought the new webcam, Susan, but for some reason it's still not going on. When I play with webcam, it'll go on. But with the shows, it doesn't go on. Yeah. So the quality of
if you're working off, I'll talk to you about that after the show. But if you're working on a laptop, you have to shut off the laptop.
What I didn't have time to play with it, but at least I got it.
That's okay. We have plenty of time to play with it.
Yeah,
so. And I can hear you great, except I have no speakers. My computer went, so I have no speakers as of yet on mine. So, and this is the thing: is you don't want to repeat everything that happened all over again. That's like It's like getting married and divorced to the same
Right.
person over and over again, expecting different
You
results.
won't.
It's not going to happen. It really isn't. I mean, if you guys couldn't do the work the first time you were together, it's not going to happen again. Okay. But the biggest thing we need to do for ourselves is to set achievable goals. And that's what in other words, I'm going to, I'm going to open myself up and put a little bit of trust there today. I am going to feel more comfortable in not a crowd, but I'm gonna like for people that are housebound, I'm gonna go outside of my porch. And then you slowly take those steps out, and it works the same way with trust as well. Sorry, between my head getting in my face and my glasses falling off my nose all the time. It's to take those steps to go and to continue, excuse me. There we go. So to continue to go forward, just little baby steps. You have to take the baby steps, or you can't take the giant ones, right?
Well, and a lot of times, and you and I were talking about this, and because I've done all these exercises on stuff, and if something comes surfaces on you, you've got to say,
Mhm.
this is not my belief system. Because a lot of times in our childhood, boy, somebody just exploded on that one. In their childhood or their belief
Excuse
system,
me again.
what?
I burped
It's
again.
okay. So, because the more we have other people's belief systems out of betrayal or
Exactly.
whatever is going on, the more it puts us out of alignment. So, I
Exactly.
worked on different inner child. My father telling me I was stupid. I don't think I was a pig,
Right.
and I had to go through this is not my belief system.
Not your monkey, not your
Yeah, whatever
circus.
your memory
Yeah.
and even in cellular memory, we remember everything. Or as psychic children, we absorb energies that we think that are us, but they're not. And so,
Yeah. There's yeah, because it's like an energy thing that actually comes. And for those of us that have like has something to do with adulthood, to have something to do now. Some of us, and again, they say this comes from childhood. Sometimes it doesn't. Some of us look for acceptance in many ways. So we get into relationships where are not healthy at all. You either end up like with a psychic vampire or
right,
somebody's verbally abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive. You have all these things. But what happens with these individuals is they will continue on that path with that feeling, I deserve this. I deserve this. I should do better. He wouldn't hit me one more time if I did better. I won't have this issue if I can do better. Rather than putting the blame where the blame should be, individuals will absorb that energy the way you absorb the information from when you are in brain fart, girl. Brain fart, you know what I mean? Little baby pea-sized thing.
well, one of these,
My brain today.
okay, you guys can also try this exercise too, where we have psychic cords and connections.
Yes.
And they're telephone lines. The stronger the connections we have, like ropes, compared to very thin ones. And when
Right.
Abby was channeling Elohim, it was like I was reading about cutting the cords, and he said you don't cut the cords, you burn the cords. And the exercise that I do to anybody you felt betrayed or energies or releasing their energy from your energy or taking
Right.
who and what you are, visualize from head to toe you and that person face to face. And
Okay.
go see all the cords that are up there, feel them, or just picture your body on fire all the way up to your head. And then I go back all the way from the head back down to the toes. And then like
It's a
you'll
good
start
idea.
thinking about somebody or their energy or their astral projection or whatever it is that's going on. Once you connect those, because we're all interconnected.
Now, would something like this work if somebody sent negative energy or say a psychic vampire?
Yeah, as you raise your vibrations, it'll
Right.
be you'll change the dial. You won't you'll feel them around, but you won't feel them as much. So I have disconnected family. I've had crystals flow out of my hands. I have had
Right.
all kinds of stuff that are happening. But the more that we burn those cords and those energies, then it's that line doesn't connect
You
anymore.
know, I just got a picture in my head as you're talking about burning the cords. Say if you cut a tree
Right,
branch, okay, because it's dying, what's going to happen after you cut that? It's going to regrow. So by burning it, it doesn't regrow.
right, and that's why they always say cut the
Aha.
cords, and that's why
Yeah.
the year and a half that I had with the trans channeling with Elohim, I just
Right.
learned so much, and that's why, like with Susan, I had that vision, and I did an automatic writing, which I was telling Susan. Look,
Yep.
I'm gonna read it. It says Howie's on here also.
Uh oh. What'd you do
No,
now,
I
Howie?
already read it to him.
Yeah, shredding is another good way to do it, and I think everybody has their own method. It's just getting rid of all of those.
All right. This is what I got before I reconnected with Howie and Susan. This is an automatic
Okay.
writing that I got. I already read it to Susan, but I didn't get to read it to Howie. And this was written on December 28th last year. This is Mother Mary. May your soul. This is Mother Mary, your soul sister. You ended completion. Now golden path is coming. You are the rainbow. You are the energy. You are the sounds. You are the powers. Doors opening wide, which I think is Susan and Howie, you know, because Howie
Yeah.
contacted me right after, and then Susan did. Doors opening wide. You are the vortex. New beginnings. We are with you. And then I just got one like a few days ago. I'll just read it anyway because I did an automatic drawing along with it.
Yep.
And it's like many chances are moving now. Or choices. Sometimes I can read
Choices.
automatic writing. The waves are moving faster. Try to keep afloat. So it's just energy waves. The more we have that power, the more
Yep.
movement, the more energy. You know,
And the more we take responsibility and control of our own selves
empowered. Yeah.
versus everybody else, because you can't control what somebody else says. You can't control what they do. You can only control how it makes you feel.
Right. And that's where you get back
Exactly
to the
it.
responding like,
Yep.
okay, like I had a job where I was telling Susan I took care of these two elderly people. I'd taken care of her before. The trustee asked me to come in. He had some flying monkey roommate that's a whole nother story. But anyway, it was a 24-hour because the guy fell. He was 84. So I stepped in and I
Oh yeah.
slept there. And I had a few times off where I took care of my other client. Well, the guy that was a trustee was wanting me to like do 24 hours with a 3-hour time off at $700 a week, and he's like, do you want
Uh,
more help? I said, yes. And then, so I decided I'll go there. And he came charging at me saying, you broke the contract, bullying me as far as what was going on. But that was a reflection of my father. And so I had to learn to stand in my power, saying I can get work, you know. But he was
right.
creating this whole thing to make me feel guilty, which is obscene as far as 24 hours with 3 hours off. What, at midnight do I get 3 hours off? You know, and then there's no place to sleep. And his flying monkey roommate wrote on my care.com, it's like, oh, I let the guy in feces. And it took me a
Right.
long time to work through that post traumatic because I didn't sign up for any of that stuff, but it was a reflection back into taking back my power. And I didn't want to argue with him because he wanted some excuse to dump on me, and I wasn't going to let him. So I
PTSD.
what?
PTSD. That's one of the things that happen if somebody is damaged
Yeah, post
emotionally.
traumatic stress disorder.
Right, and it was originated with the Army,
Right.
Navy, things like that. But there are individuals that do have
A lot of them. I do
PTSD in
healings on them.
regards to, yeah, regarding to particular situations where the energy itself affects them on such a negative
The
level
cortisol holds
that
it
it
in.
causes
Yeah.
it causes flashbacks for these things to continue, severe flashbacks. And the flashbacks will cause the emotions to reemerge. And that happens for many different reasons. Some I won't get into, but if you are getting like emotional, I'm not talking physical flashbacks by physical confrontation for PTSD. I'm talking about the emotional flashbacks. Example, we'll go back to the bad relationship situation. Say if there's a couple in a bad relationship, and every time she heard a slamming door, she knew that something was going to happen and she got hit or something. So she goes out in public. Every time she hears a slamming door, she's running and ducking. That's an automatic emotional reaction because she's technically a part of her is still there. The same could be said in relationships, any type of relationship, friendship relationships. It's like, okay, if I go back and do this, then this is going to happen again. So, what are you doing? Energy wise, question being, energy wise, aren't we automatically telling the universe, okay, I need this to repeat again, if that's how you feel?
And that's all to do with raising your vibration. Once you raise your vibration,
Right.
everybody has a certain sound or energy, whether it's a low sound or a high sound. And one of my theories is, okay, I had a low sound, I hadn't worked through it, I attracted, even though that Billy,
Right.
because my father died, and I didn't get to confront him. And
Right.
so we will attract the same things until we work through it, and then it'll disappear. And so people are like, I'm fine, nothing's happening, da da da. The whole thing like that. But that's not it. We have to, the more we change within ourselves, the more it's going to change our environment around us, not the other way around. Everything around us is a mirror that we need to work through.
Bingo. See, you like that? We didn't even rehearse this, guys. I swear to God.
Well, Susan and I flow together, and
Yeah.
and we're on the same wavelengths because I've done radio shows where people like, I'm spiritual, I'm this, and then I never hear from them again, you know. And it's like, okay, you think you're this, but you're not.
Yeah, I could see a Stevie Wonder thing going on again. Who's coming in this time?
Should I,
I call it her Stevie Wonder thing.
well, I call it that too, you know.
Oh.
Well, I think Stevie Wonder works on waves. I'm gonna let people see my eyes, you know.
Yeah, the way that he goes like this because he works not off what he sees, but it's what he feels
Right. It's
and
all
the vibration of the music.
right.
So
And
that's why I call it a
colors have
Stevie Wonder thing.
vibration. There's another really good book that I read it again around it's called Hands of Light Healing.
I still have that.
Yeah, I love that book. And then I got the other book, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, I do all this stuff. But it talks about colors, vibrations,
right.
channeling, healings, and all the other stuff that's going on. I got to hit a tone, so I guess the Stevie Wonder energy is happening because we talk, and then people need to release this stuff, and it transmutes that lower energy. I mean, I did a little bit of work on Susan. I don't know how much that helped her, you know.
I can eat.
Well, that's what
I'm
you said you
golden.
had plans
I
for the
can
show.
drink my coffee
Right. And I told her,
and
what are
I
you
can
not
talk.
communicating? So it's that's
Yeah,
what the diseases will go to, that part of the body
yeah.
that needs it. What are you not
It,
communicating? What are you not going forward with? What so you gotta look at whatever your aches are in your body and
yep.
go talk to those cells that are going on. I gotta hit the tone because they're coming in. Oh, we got Mother Mary. That's nice. Boy, lots of,
That one hit my crown chakra.
well, good. So,
Yeah, I can feel it all the way up there. They say, "Oh my God, I felt it up to my tippy toes." Hell no, I felt it all the way up here.
and I'm reiterating. It's like one of the things that Elohim said. I said, well, what do the tones do? And they said we do it so we can work on people's Akashic records. So
Mm,
it hits as far as when I do the tones, as you know, it's not linear. It's the right side of the brain. So a post-traumatic will come out, an inner
Right.
child will come out, a past life will come out to whatever you're
Exactly.
going through at that time. And I'm getting
Okay.
what?
Sorry. I got one random question
Okay.
before we have the last thing going. Just a funny random question. It's in my head. So I was told by someone that wherever your birthmark is, like if you have a really deep, dark birthmark, that's how you died in a previous life.
Yeah, my daughter was born with one on her throat. Shot energies, whatever's
Really?
going on. Yeah.
So I died by someone stabbing me below my butt cheek?
It could have been. Yeah, I get it.
Wow.
You know.
I just found that funny.
Well,
I can't put, I just,
our body
really?
our bodies will have cellular memories from the past life. I've been a prostitute. My shoulder hurt. My first boyfriend this lifetime was, from what I told, because I was a Vietnamese prostitute, and he shot me, but he got VD. This lifetime, he was born blind in one eye. We carry over but then you look
Ah,
at my medicine, my past life medicines, as far as the healing abilities. So we have those
right.
fears, the drowning. We don't want to go in the water. All the
Okay. And that happened. So maybe some of these trust factors,
right
because we've been
past
talking
lives.
about
You don't
trust
know
tonight.
why.
Exactly. You don't know why. It's like it could have nothing to do with like, I want to go on a boat. No, I don't want to go. No, I don't want to go. You don't know why. It could have something to do with the past life. Maybe we could get somebody on here that does past life regressions to
Well, I
help
did like the past
help to
life
pick a
energies.
couple of people.
You know, I, I
Yeah.
I'll pick up the energies on the past lives. They'll surface out of
Yeah.
whatever's going on. Um, yeah, we have. There's so many layers of healing. We've got inner dimensions. We've got past lives. We've got
Exactly.
traumatic. People think, oh, this is that. Things carry over. Things get triggered. Things get
They
whatever
do.
they are that's happening. My right shoulder used to hurt. I would see myself getting whipped about you're not going fast enough as far as being a dancer. We don't know why we have these
Ah.
cellular memories. The rebirthing, when I took that class, people in the womb would remember stuff. And then if they get the
Yeah.
triceps, they don't know why they had a fear on this. Our body remembers everything, but you can't be objective within yourself.
Exactly, like individuals that were like they almost starved to death or they did starve to death, they have a tendency to hoard food.
Right,
That's because in their other life,
right.
they died of starvation. That was their most predominant memory. So yeah, I believe that. I really do.
We don't know why we do what we
Um,
do. And again, back to that triggering
yeah.
post traumatic energies, because I've been healing people as I was told when I was 21, when I was doing the au pair work, the starting of my journey, I got a channeling from the au pair that I had a deja vu, which I didn't think I was going to go there, but I ended up there. And they just, um, they ended up saying I do psychokinesis. I said, what's that? They said moving and clearing energy. So I've been doing that since I was, and then I just incorporated all these different
Oh, I
things.
was thinking telekinesis. Don't mind me. I'm having a blonde day.
That's okay. Just remember your cortisol when you're stressed out, it makes you lose your memory. You know,
Right now, I'm not stressed. I'm just very relaxed.
right.
It feels good to finally not be in pain and not swollen and be able to talk and move the way I used to. So I'm
Because
really
you're
happy with
changing.
that. But
You've got to look at yourself as a death and a rebirth all the time. The
yeah,
old me didn't exist
definitely.
5 minutes ago, you know. And if we acknowledge
Exactly.
and release part of that trust energy, you know, these people want to come back into your lives, that tell them
You
that old me
froze. Oh,
doesn't
there you
exist
are.
anymore.
I'm saying, oh no, she froze. Yeah,
And
yeah. I agree, guys. I agree. All right. We are kind of like exactly on the hour because we did start late, but don't worry, we'll get the time thing going now. So I know 7 o'clock my time is 4 o'clock your
yeah, I got
time.
to register. Yeah, because how we did the same thing. We did the 11 o'clock, and it's like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm both Ron and I are like, what?
Hey, we're consistent.
But you guys are all in the same
Yeah.
time zone. I'm 3 hours,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
luckily,
Well, I'm farther up towards the armpit of Massachusetts.
but is it still 3 hours?
Yeah, but I'm in the armpit of Massachusetts.
Well, I know. I'm
That's what
just
we
talking
call
about
it.
the 3 hours.
It goes like this, and I'm like,
Well, I'm glad
there's
I
the
made
armpit.
my bed. Something in the rhythm had me make everything, so I was ready to go, you know.
Well, guys, and again, I want you guys to get used to seeing Marcy. Marcy is the new CO or co-host of Beacon in the Dark.
Well,
So
we're doing
it's
it
going
twice
to
a month,
be,
right?
yep, twice a month she'll be on. Slowly we'll compete. What state is Marcy in?
I'm in Nevada.
Nevada.
I'm in Reno, Nevada. The casino.
Nevada. Nevada. So I want you guys to get used to her, and thank you so much for tuning in. But love seeing Marcy from Linda. Nikki was the one that wanted to know what state you're in, and Karen Bullet said hi. And I'm sure those that could not listen will listen tomorrow, and I will see you guys on Tuesday now that everything's kind of back to normal and I don't look like half baseball sticking out of my face. That's awesome. And Marcy will be back. We're going to do this twice a month. So we'll talk to her. I have no idea what we're talking about. But then again, we never know what we're
We
talking
had
about.
one
It's just the way it
subject. We were going to do automatic drawings, and then Susan came and, why don't we do betrayal?
I was told trust. I said, okay, trust. All right, here we go.
You know, I tried everything.
Maybe somebody needed the help.
Second. What, Susan?
Yep. Maybe somebody needed the help. That's what it is.
I just trust whatever
she posted it to her Facebook page, and that's good. And that's what Beacon in the Light is about. It's about helping as many people as possible, whether it's through tones or music or knowledge or knowledge and tones all at the same time. Why not? Or when Marcy's trying to tone and I'm playing my stuff. You know, you never know what's going to come out of us. But as long as it helps you guys find that piece of light in yourselves that we both know is still there with you. And again, I want to say peace to me and Marcy. Say goodbye, and everybody say hi, Marcy.
I just want to say, because Howie and I both got hacked, you want to talk about trust issue? The guy had I was talking to him, and then he messed up me, messed up Howie. I have two Facebooks. One is the black and white where I was doing readings on Telegraph Avenue. That's on my phone one. And then I've got the channel drawing one with the rainbow because the other guy has the other one. So I want to specify which ones I have, that are going on.
Well, anybody that wants to get a hold of an RNN host, which is Rift Nation Network host, you can always send a message, email us, and it'll go directly over to that. I'll let Marcy finish in a minute.
I'm done. I'm okay.
Don't want to forget. I don't want to forget. Let's see. We have, I'm not sure what's going down. I think it's the week off. And then we have, I think it's Paranormal Outlaws on Saturday. Orion Effect is on Sunday. There's another show coming in on Sunday before that. Love Shack will be back soon. And then we have Mystery Behind the Scenes, The Otter's Den, and Bag of Nuts, now that the nut lady can actually talk here. And you'll be seeing that with Pixie Sue, my alternate ego character. So thank you so much, guys.
I'm just curious, how does everybody like the show, and how does everybody like the tones? I'm just,
send a message over, send comments, guys. Let us know how it is that you like it, and if there's a particular topic that you feel that we need to light the way on, let us know. We could talk about it.
Yeah.
We don't mind, right, Marcy?
Oh, I love this stuff,
Okay, everybody, we wave. Bye.